obviously you're doing hugely important work, and you have said that the company is more than just a Black talent pool. How exactly does Valence work?
Right. So for us, it's all about the community. It's really about the talented Black professionals who want to get together. They want to share their goals. They want to share their dreams. They want to support each other. And really, that's what we bring to market, is just that idea that, we definitely want to connect people with opportunity, but it's really important that once you're connected to an opportunity, that you feel that you have the support system to succeed. And so that's really what Valence is about those connections.
Now, every time we look at these numbers, they are staggering. Only 3% of the workforce in Silicon Valley is Black. There are 3 Black CEOs in the Fortune 500, 1% of venture-backed startup founders. What are we doing wrong?
Well, I think you have to really appreciate that because we've been doing things wrong for 401 years, right? So this isn't a new problem. There definitely is a pipeline issue, but I think the bigger issue that we have is the churn, right? So once you hire someone, they get into a position, it's really important that they succeed. And, so again, hiring the right person is critical, but ensuring that success once you hire them, giving them the support system, giving them the training is the really important thing, because otherwise, everyone's just off to the next job. And again, we all have seen recently last in, first out. And so that's, another big factor, with COVID and unemployment numbers. It really is critically important that people, once they have the position, once they've proven themselves, are given the tools to succeed.
Well, and I wonder, with so many people working from home, if that retention piece of it is actually even harder right now, and if companies need to put even more effort in making sure that the people that they are hiring are included and have a voice at the table.
Yeah, I think that is, it really actually is a double-edged sword, because I think because what's happening right now is that meetings aren't so long, they're not so exclusive, there's no excuse not to connect with someone now. So even if previously your boss was in a different location, there's no excuse to reach out to them. Again, we have people in North Carolina, we have people in New York and New Jersey, we have people in Atlanta. And so it's very easy for me to just get on a Zoom call, but everyone has to think in that manner, right? So yes, you're not in the same place, you don't have the same personal connection, you don't have the camaraderie that might come otherwise, but there is technology can provide some relief.
You work with companies like Facebook, Airbnb, Peloton. Are companies actually doing enough? I've heard from so many people who work in the D&I community that, so many companies say they care, put some money behind it, but really aren't putting as much money as they should behind it, and really aren't making it as much of a priority as it needs to be.
Right. That's actually an interesting point. I think the philosophy that I operate with is that people pay attention to what the CEO pays attention to. So it's really not about the money. It's about the focus of the CEO, establishing the KPI as it relates to these initiatives, putting them in the annual report, making sure that you're held accountable and the people on your team are held accountable, and making that part of their review. And so I think that's really the issue, is that if nothing is happening, it's primarily because the CEO is not really paying attention, not making it part of his or her balanced scorecard. So I think that's really what's the main factor, and it's not really about the money.
Okay, so in the case of Facebook, where they just put out their diversity report, they've actually made a lot of progress on women. They have not made progress as much when it comes to Black employees. Is that Mark Zuckerberg's problem? Is he doing something wrong?
I think, he's the CEO. Everything is his problem. I won't say, he's doing something wrong. I think there's a lot more that he could be doing right. I have very, very good friends at Facebook. I've talked to some of the highest leaders in the company. They care. I think Mark cares. I think that, the challenge is a lot of times there's just not a critical mass of talent, so that some of the shared misery, some of the kind of challenges are not, again, there's no network, there's no community to really facilitate the kind of working through those issues. And I think that's what a lot of companies go through, not just Facebook. And so, that's why we created, again, Valence, so that community within Facebook can connect in a really safe place, in a meaningful way, and help each other up, right? So it's obviously Mark, if he wants to solve the problem, he can. And any CEO that approaches this as a business challenge, or we're talking about some of the smartest people in the world, to say that they can't solve this is a bit disingenuous, right? So it's really just about making it a priority.
We are speaking the same week that the first Black and Indian American woman is now on a major party presidential ticket, with Joe Biden choosing Senator Kamala Harris as his VP. How much do you think that could change things in a moment like this, even though it is, just one step forward?
Well, I would say this, we have a lot of friends in common. I've never met her. Well, actually, I've met her one time, very quickly. But I would say that it's really critical that she understands the challenges, right? She's been in this cauldron, so, kind of her background is not that she's just kind of been elevated to the VP role. She served at every level of government and served very, very well. So she understands the challenges so that she can, work to affect change from the very, very top. But it also, change has to be affected from the bottom as well. And so I think no matter what happens in November, there's going to be a sea change, right? People are either going to wake up and say, you know what, we can't rely on any help from the top. We have to do this all ourselves, and it's going to continue to be a grassroots movement. Or companies are going to wake up and say, you know what, we better get on board. There is, kind of Biden cares, right? It's not just Kamala Harris. It's very clear that Biden cares. And so I think there is going to be a sea change in November or in January, I guess, depending on how you look at it.
Well, we'll see how the election turns out. You left a career in film and television, as I understand it, to pursue Valence and run this company as a CEO. Tell me a little bit about your story and how your experience with diversity in media compares to Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so actually, I'm not going to say I left, right? I am solving a problem right now with data. But that's about my background. I have 2 engineering degrees and a couple of patents related to data. So even when I was in the film and television industry and working in virtual reality, I was still focused on using data to solve problems. My most recent patent, it does just that. It just does it with a virtual reality headset. But I think really for me, the difference as it relates to this is that everyone in the innovation economy understands data. They know the power of it. And that's what we're availing ourselves of, right? So we're availing ourselves of the ability to connect, 10,000 people right now on its way to 100,000. We're growing at 20% per month. And that's kind of organic growth. And so, once we aggregate this community, we want to understand who they are, who they aspire to be, and make sure that we serve them with the content that they're looking for, with the connections that they're looking for, and with the community members that they need and the opportunities that they need. And then once we have them doing that, we can actually, again, going back to my earlier point, ensure their success. And so that's really what we're focused on. But I would say that our business model is not too different from Netflix, in the fact that we are collecting a lot of data, we're understanding our consumers, and we're giving them what they want when they want it. So again, and we're creating content. We just had an hours-long summit yesterday, sponsored by Silicon Valley Bank. And the texts that I got and the emails that I got, the comments were fantastic and phenomenal. And so now we have video that we can actually repurpose for our community. So we're not, I didn't move away from media. We're just doing it in a different priority.